W.F. Howes presents an unabridged recording of White Supremacy, From Eugenics to Great Replacement, by Gavin Evans, narrated by Finlay Robertson. Preface. We seldom remember those who are killed, especially if they die in large numbers at the hands of a lone shooter. Instead, our attention is invariably on the one who pulled the trigger to end their lives. What made him do it? And always it is a him, not her. How did he get his guns? Where did he find his ideas? When Payton Gendron murdered 10 black people at a supermarket in Buffalo, New York on the 14th of May 2022, I followed the story with a mixture of anger and despair. It soon became clear that he'd immersed himself in the scientific racism and replacement theory that I had spent the last 2 decades trying to combat, and that these pseudo-scientific ideas were a large part of the motivation he gave for his action. I started writing on the fallacies of race science more than 20 years ago. My first piece was a comment feature in The Guardian on Richard Lynn, the University of Ulster evolutionary psychologist who had no qualms about calling himself a racist and vigorously promoted faux scientific racism and eugenics for many decades. Later, I wrote extensively about Lynn, his friend and colleague J. Philippe Rushton, and other scientific racism advocates like Tatu Van Hanen and Jared Taylor in 2 books on the subject. Along the way, I joined the Royal Institution's Challenging Pseudo-Science group, lectured, delivered speeches, and was interviewed regularly on this subject. My concern was that this form of pseudoscience was filtering into the mainstream, punted by non-scientists who were part of the cultural establishment. People like the evolutionary psychologist Steven Pinker, the podcaster Sam Harris, the YouTuber Jordan Peterson, and the journalist Andrew Sullivan. It also often appeared in mainstream publications and sites ranging from The Spectator and Quillette to the Joe Rogan Experience, as well as being trumpeted by mainstream politicians, including Donald Trump. What I hadn't yet clocked until the Buffalo Massacre was that this kind of material was also having a direct influence on far-right killers. Soon after
Sample complete. Ready to continue?